This episode is brought to you by Buy My Stuff on eBay. Yes, you too can buy my stuff from eBay. Simply search for the seller, Tin Dog Podcast, and you can own some rare and collectible items. From the same people who brought you Buy My Books on Amazon. Check the show notes for a direct link.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to another Tin Dog Podcast. This time talking, well, you know what? There's been lots of reviews, lots of quizzes, and even the For Your Considerations. But the one thing that I haven't been doing is reporting on any of the news or giving any of my real opinions. I've been giving opinions about the thing I've been reviewing, which is fine. But there's been stuff happening in the world of Who, and I just thought I'd have one episode out, and just chat about that. So, there's been a few things happening in the world, and my opinion, well, you see, I used to put it on Twitter or even Blue Sky, but the amount of engagement, because people just kind of scroll and look and move on, and things are different from how they used to be. So, I've gone back to basics, and I'm going to have a chat with you about, well, stuff that's happened. So, has anyone else heard The Rest is Entertainment? There was a few days this week when the latest instalment of the podcast called The Rest is Entertainment, which also is on YouTube, which is hosted by Richard Osman, who is the husband of Osgood, well, the actor who plays Osgood, and some posh woman who is a journalist. Now, she's the journalist, and basically it's them talking about stuff. Now, Richard knows a shed load about stuff, but he's also, well, he's universally positive about stuff. Not so much. But anyway, if you know it, it's a great little podcast. Well, I say little, it's obviously one of those, The Rest Is, which means they're part of a massive juggernaut. The latest one is about the troubles at the BBC, but there was one last week where they were talking about Doctor Who. And it was really interesting to see the opinions of the, well, let's go old school on this. We'll call them the not we, yeah? We being the Doctor Who fans. It's a Fifth Doctor story reference. If you don't know it, it's fine. But basically, it's the people who are kind of aware of Doctor Who and they're a bit of a fan, and she knows more than most, but she's just aware of it from a media point of view, yeah? And yes, the show isn't what it once was, and somebody had written in, it was one of those episodes where someone can ask questions, and someone had said, what do you think of the whole Disney aspect of dropping out of the Who show? And does anyone care? Really, Doctor Who isn't what it once was, because we get older. Yes, people are jumping on it's all woke bandwagon, and if you've got an opinion on Doctor Who being woke or not, I point you, my learned, beloved listener, to my friend Luke's podcast, who's doing a whole set of reviews and a whole thing about is Doctor Who woke or not. That's a different conversation for another time. But that can't just be the reason. According to Radio Free Skaro, Disney jumped on board and gave money to Doctor Who under a different management system. A time when money was less of an object. A time when Disney wasn't being as attacked as much. And now that it's bringing up the drawbridge, and although the new person called Bob, because let's face it, anyone in charge of Disney has to be called Bob, he's kind of looking after the money, yeah? And so everything's gone back to the drawing board. They got Bluey, and that was fine, and that's made them a lot of clicks and views. Doctor Who, not so much. And let's face it, it was coming across as a very expensive version of Power Rangers. Once that thing on board the unit bridge turned up, what was it, the Flex or something? I That was it for me. It wasn't even the appearance of Sutek or... And let's face it, things have been not great. It just hasn't felt right. And it's not because, everyone wants more money spent on it or something like that. That's just a bit silly. Or less money. We want less money spent on it. Although, to be fair, that is actually my daughter's opinion. She wants a return to Doctor Who done with strings. She wants Matt Irvine back, with the TARDIS on a piece of string being spun through space by some student in a velvet cupboard. They're the effects she wants, and I honestly didn't do that to her. I didn't. She just came to that conclusion all of her own. It was nothing to do with me. So, nobody really knows. Some people are very anti-RTD, and I understand that. Everybody goes, oh yes, the real problem is the writing. And I'm not completely sure. I'm not convinced that that's the case. I think the problem is really with what used to be a script editor, an overriding person who can say no. I mean, I think that's actually a problem with society. There isn't somebody out there going, no, have you thought about this instead? How about going in a different direction and doing this? See, Russell's incredibly powerful. And it's his ethos, it's his take on Doctor Who, and the other people who Christopher Eccleston's got an issue with, that are the core of modern Doctor Who. But let's face it, it's a poison chalice of a job being the showrunner. And people just aren't trained. Nobody is making a breakthrough to that level of power, to that level of capability. No one really is an executive producer in the old sense. No one has that level of confidence. And perhaps that's it. That's why we keep falling back to people who've done the job before, because you can't work your way up in the industry anymore. Let's face it, it's been blocked in the whole exciting world of, being a working class person and working your way up these days. It's just not going to happen. But that's fine. That's class war chat. That's not what we're talking about here. So, Disney were discussed by The Rest is Entertainment. So I recommend you go away and listen to that and just experience the exciting world of the not we talking about Doctor Who as if they know more. Because it's from a BBC point of view. And yes, the BBC's in trouble, but so is everyone. I get that the Disney have stepped away. I get that we don't know who's in charge. I get totally and unbelievably understand how upset everyone is, including me, about Billie Piper turning up and being shoved in at the end, about the nightmare Doctor's daughter, Susan's mother, granddaughter nightmare thing that we almost got but didn't get, that would end up becoming canon but isn't canon, because then you've got the Doctor's grandson who's the Eighth Doctor. Oh my God, let's discuss the Eighth Doctor. So, today, it was announced that Paul McGann is not attending Gallifrey because he's got an important job that will last 6 months. That's what it says. Now, being Doctor Who fans, and knowing for a fact that it was announced that Paul McGann visited the Doctor Who set about a month ago, although I've not seen any photographs of that, well, of course, we've jumped to the wrong conclusion and gone, well, he must be the new Doctor. That will save the show, won't it? Will it? Would it? I mean, my absolute method of saving Doctor Who is to remake some of the greatest Big Finish stories, who've had an audience of thousands, and remake them for an audience of millions. The recent stuff from Big Finish, the Colin Baker stuff, could just be instantly remade for a TV Doctor, and it would be glorious, wonderful stuff. Proper old-fashioned Monsters of the Week stories with a bit of moralisation thrown in for fun. Perhaps I'm old-fashioned, but perhaps these are the people we should be looking forward to take things on. Dominic, you've done a lovely job with some Big Finish stuff. You are actually one of our big hopes. Anyway, moving on. And I know that Nick Briggs, everyone at Big Finish is getting on, and that worries me because everyone should have an exit strategy as you get older and want to retire. But if you do a job you love, you might never want to retire. So let's hope that's the case with Big Finish. Oh, one of the other things I've not discussed, of course, and welcome to the scatterbrain of me, is that Torchwood's ending with Big Finish. And you know how much I love that. But as of episode 100, gone. I know that they've not been taking new scripts for some time, and I kind of guessed what was coming. But perhaps, just perhaps, we might end up getting release number 50 finally in our grubby little protuberances. Another thing that's been in the news is that there's the possibility that new Doctor Who stories have been found, which makes you think, oh my god, so what have they found? What's going on? Now I get it. Some collectors have liked to look after their collection and hoard them like a dragon hoards gold. Because these people were bitten in the past, they looked after their stuff. But now, as time passes, they no longer need their collections because they're just getting on or they're no longer with us. Films Fabulous became a proper charitable status entity, and that is brilliant. And you know what? If I knew any of them personally, I'd so try and be working with them. My admin skills, my people skills would just be brilliant. But that's not important. People always end up with, but what would you like returned? So for me, my list consists of, I'd like the Abominable Snowman, I'd like the Smugglers, and I'd really, really love the Mythmakers. But what would you like? Of course, at this point, if I was a proper YouTuber, I'd be like demanding that you put it in the comments below. But that's fine, you know what you want. So that's it really for the news. Disney, fair enough. And of course, very soon we'll have the war between the Homo Aqua, the Sea Devils, which of course is just as made up, just to create some clickable free news and chat. And that's exactly what it's managed to do, and it's nothing more than that. I dread it being shown over 1 week, or worse than that, dropping all in one go. But you just don't know. It could absolutely ruin Christmas for us podcasters, knowing that we have to review things immediately. Because that's what's been bred into us. But I was there for Children of Earth. I did one podcast a day. It was not fun. Right, I'm going to go now, and I'll speak to you all very soon. But if you've got any thoughts or any feelings about this, please, actually, you know what? There's Twitter, there's Blue Sky, there's email, there's the comments at the bottom of the YouTube channel, which I'd love you to subscribe. Please get me over the 1,000 mark. I know it'll not happen, but please, please do it. Just consider it. You don't have to watch them. Just subscribe. Have it on in the background. Then you'll know there's a podcast out. Right, I'll go now, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Until next time, when I'll actually be reviewing a Doctor Who, and I'll try and get back on schedule with the Ulysses, the Doctor Who's, and proper Big Finish reviews. Be seeing you. That was the Tin Dog Podcast. All topics discussed are the intellectual property of the copyright owners. No infringement is intended. Why not follow the show on Blue Sky at tindogpodcast.bsky.social. If you've enjoyed this podcast on YouTube, please click like and subscribe. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.